The night David Cole lost everything, the city of Chicago was buried under a cruel winter storm. His car engine had died just outside a shuttered gas station, and his wallet was empty except for a faded photograph of his daughter, Lily. He hadn't seen her in 3 years, not since his divorce, not since he'd fallen into debt and disappointment. Now, he sat shivering in the dim orange glow of a streetlight, clutching his jacket tighter, wondering how far a man could fall before hope froze completely. If you believe true kindness always finds its way back, please tap the like button now and subscribe to support more stories like this. For 3 days, David wandered the streets, sleeping in bus shelters and warming his hands over steam grates. Pride kept him from asking for help. He'd been an electrician once, a man people called dependable. Now, even his reflection in shop windows seemed to look away in shame. On the 4th morning, he found himself standing outside a small coffee shop called Harper's Brew, drawn by the smell of roasted beans and the sound of laughter from inside. Through the glass, he saw families talking, people tapping at laptops, baristas writing cheerful names on cups. For a moment, David just watched. He didn't have the money for even a cup of coffee, but the warmth inside felt like a different world. That's when a little boy, maybe 8 or 9, pushed open the door. He wore a red knit hat too big for his head, and he was holding a paper bag in one hand. He looked up at David with curious eyes and said, "You look cold, mister. You should come in." David smiled weakly. "Can't, kid. I don't have enough for coffee." The boy thought for a second, then opened the paper bag. "My mom got me 2 muffins by mistake. You can have one." Before David could protest, the boy placed the muffin in his hand, a small, blueberry one, still warm through the paper. And just like that, the boy ran back inside, waving before disappearing behind the door. David stood frozen, holding that muffin as if it were made of gold. He hadn't eaten a real breakfast in days. But it wasn't just food. It was proof that someone still saw him. That he wasn't invisible. He went inside. The barista behind the counter looked up and smiled. "Cold out there, huh? Come on, sit by the heater. I'll get you some hot water." She didn't ask questions. Didn't look at him like a problem to be solved. That morning, David sat in that corner for almost an hour, eating slowly, warming his hands around a free cup of water, and letting tears quietly fall behind his paper cup. The kindness didn't end there. The barista, her name tag read Sarah, left a small napkin on his table when she passed by. On it was written, "We're hiring part-time help for maintenance. Ask for me tomorrow morning." That night, David slept in the church shelter down the street. The next day, he returned. He didn't have a resume, just honesty. "I used to be an electrician," he told Sarah. "I can fix lights, wires, anything you need." She smiled. "Perfect. You can start today." Weeks turned into months. David worked hard, showed up early, stayed late, fixed every broken bulb, every stubborn door hinge. He stopped drinking. He saved every spare dollar. And every morning, he watched that same boy, Ethan, as he learned, come in with his mom for cocoa and muffins. Sometimes David slipped an extra chocolate chip cookie in Ethan's bag, always pretending it was store policy. One spring afternoon, Harper's Brew held a small community fundraiser. The owner asked David to speak, to share a few words about second chances. Nervous but proud, he stood in front of a crowd and told the story of a small gift, a simple muffin on a freezing morning that had saved him when he was at his lowest. As he finished, he noticed a familiar face in the crowd, Lily, his daughter. She had found him through a local news article about the cafe's event. Tears filled her eyes as she ran up and hugged him. "Dad, I saw what you've been doing. I'm so proud of you." The cafe fell silent, except for quiet sniffles. Even Sarah had to wipe her eyes behind the counter. From that day forward, David's life never looked the same. He rented a small apartment nearby, reconnected with his daughter, and eventually started a small electrical repair business. On the wall above his workbench hung a photo of that little boy, Ethan, holding a muffin, with a handwritten note below, "A small gift can change everything." We'd love to hear your story. What is the most memorable act of unexpected kindness you have witnessed or received? Share it in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who might need a reminder that hope can begin with something as small as a muffin, and a little boy's kindness on a cold Chicago morning.